Good morning, Ms. Sigels-Ncube. Good morning, Ms. Bowe. And good morning, Mr.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning,
Kize.
Commissioners.
Yeah, I'm not discriminating. That's because they both led. So this side, I only recognize or acknowledge the lead counsel. Thank you, but good morning, good morning. Good morning, General.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Sigels-Ncube.
Good morning, General.
Good morning, Advocate.
General, before we progress, hopefully, this morning to the other topics on the call, I just wanted us to go back to your evidence regarding your understanding or your version that you gave about what you meant by reporting to the other side. You will recall that you had exchanges not only with myself, but with the commissioners as well regarding that aspect. You recall?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. Now, I understand that you also want to deal with it to some extent, and I'll give you an opportunity to do so. General, but before we do that, if I can just repeat what I understand your evidence to be about that. You said that by the other side, reporting to the other side, that General Sibiya wanted the information for the other side. You were referring to Mr. Molefe'S family, correct?
I made that concession later because my first response was the other side of General Sibiya and his faction.
Yes.
And I was pressed to say I must mention names. And again explained that it seems I'm lying under oath. Then I considered, because I want to mention any other person, because of the reason that I didn't have concrete evidence against any of those people who might be perceived to be on his side. I even included myself that sometimes I was considered to be on his side. And without having any evidence that really he was going to share with them or is for their benefit and without any other reason. So I decided to say I don't want to mention any person because I'll be just making a vague, or it's just my perception. Hence now the other option was, anyhow I was sent by him to inquire about the detention status of Mr. Molefe. So I decided to say the family, because they are the ones who phoned him, according to him, that not phoned, I'm not sure of that. What he was told, it was that they wanted to know where. They were complaining about not knowing where is he detained. So that was the reason, what I wanted to clarify.
General, I may be covering ground that I covered with you yesterday, and which my co-commissioners also covered, but I cannot help but say this. You say in so many words that you were referring to the other faction of SAPS, and you referred to General Sibiya as being part of that faction. And clearly, from what you are saying, that's who you were referring to at the time the recording was made. I have difficulty understanding how that can, upon engagement in this commission yesterday, how that can suddenly change to the family. You say in so many words, at the time, reference was to the other faction. How does that suddenly change? I don't understand. Because the reason you give, or the reasons you give for the change, are a sense of discomfort that you now have, and also the difficulty of identifying those within that faction. But that cannot then change who you were referring to. It cannot. What you should rather say is, one, I have a discomfort saying more about that faction. Two, I cannot even identify the people in that faction except for General Sibiya. I would understand you if that's what you were saying, but for the identity of open quote, this other side, close quote, suddenly changing, I don't understand that, and I will never understand that.
Commissioner, I agree with Commissioner that indeed I was referring to General Sibiya, and when I said this other faction, and having difficulty to identify or to say specifically who is in his faction from the police
and
side.
then that cannot change upon being
Yes.
engaged by the commission. It should stay there. That's who you were referring to when you said this other side. It should stay there. It should remain there. Not so.
Yes, but yeah, when I was overwhelmed with now lying to the commission and whatsoever, I decided to end.
No, reference to you lying was only after you had changed. If you hadn't changed, nobody would have suggested that you are lying on this.
Yes, Commissioner, I agree. That is why I wanted to indicate that the difficulty was that I can't put a name or say these are the people on his faction whom I think they were going to share with.
All right. Then towards the end of the debate, I think it was with Commissioner Baloyi,
Hello, yes.
you even referred to, so a reference was, that is the changed reference was no longer only to the family, but you also referred to perpetrators, and I think you even referred to friends. Who are the perpetrators that you were talking about?
No, I think I referred to friends.
You
I
did
said
refer.
family and friends.
You did refer to perpetrators. I know for a fact, General. You did.
Oh, no. I thought I said family and friends because
You said perpetrators as well in so many words. Who are you referring to? I know for a fact you did.
No.
Who are you referring to?
I can't refer to the perpetrators because the perpetrators are those who were arrested. I think it is 4. It's 4 persons who have been charged, and I don't have information that they are related or have ties with General Sibiya. I just felt it was easier to say family and friends because it's the family who found him, or might be friends, people who are close to the family. Hence, I wanted today to say, actually, for me, I didn't have 2 versions. I had one version when I said side, which I was meaning to the General Sibiya and the faction which is perceived to be there, even though I couldn't put names. But when I was pressed, I said because the persons who complained was the family, I said family and friends.
I'll be surprised if I'm mistaken about your reference to perpetrators, but perhaps we'll revisit that aspect after the tea adjournment.
Chair, just while you are on that, we will display the transcript of yesterday, and you will see there it does say it is the perpetrators, family and friends. That was from yesterday, General.
There it is, General. Do you see it? Look behind you. It is the perpetrators, family and friends. So there it is, you did refer to it. Who were you talking about when you referred to perpetrators?
Yeah, maybe it just come up, but I wanted to say family and friends.
What do you mean come up? You said it, what do you mean?
I agree that as it is indicated, I indicated perpetrators, but as I have explained, I don't have knowledge of the general having knowledge, knowing the perpetrators.
No, it's not about the general. I'm sure you are referring to General Shibiri. It's not about, I'm very sorry, General Sibiya. It's not about him. It's about what you said. It is you that referred to perpetrators. What were you talking about? Or who were you talking about?
Yeah, as I'm trying to explain, Commissioner, to say, when I was pressed with to say who is the faction, I end up indicating that family and friends. I wasn't aware I added even the perpetrator because I don't know him to be having the ties. So that is my mistake.
I'll leave it at that, General. And thank you very much for the transcript.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
General, it wasn't just when you were pressed for a name after you said the factions. It wasn't just then when you were pressed for names that you changed your version. It was also because it was put to you that it's implausible that the other side could be the police or the other faction of the police, because why would you be saying General Sibiya wants the information for not for NASCOM but for the other side? If the other side is General Sibiya's side, you would have then said for his side. That is why you then, it wasn't just because you were asked for names that you changed your version. Do you accept that? That it was both when you were asked for the names and then it was put to you at several times that it was implausible that that in context could have meant the other faction within the police force?
Yes, that is why I'm saying it was when I was pressed. I remember it was Commissioner Baloyi to say, I cannot say there is other side, and then I say is the other faction, and I can't mention, because my response, I remember I said I choose not to mention the names. And then it came from there when the pressure started mounting from there. And that is where I became confused to come up with anything to get out of that, because I didn't want to mention a name of a police whom I will be just speculating through my perception without those people knowing anything to do with anything.
Okay, so let's then understand what your version is of the other side. So it's not the family. It's not Mr. Molefe'S family.
No.
It is not the National Commissioner's side. We know that. So is it General Sibiya's side?
Yes.
Okay. So I am still going to say to you that it is implausible that in the context you are referring to General Sibiya's side, because you would have said his side. And it can't be a third faction, because if there was, you would have disclosed that there's a third faction that you are referencing. But let us just proceed on. You say that this call was a follow-up from a call that you had made to Witness A on the 7th of December.
That's correct.
Okay. I understood you to say that you were on leave from the 6th of December.
No, from the 27th of November.
Okay. So your point was that you were on leave even on the day of the operations, which was of the takedown operations, which was the 6th of December.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, if I can just take you to Witness A's statement, because Witness A doesn't recall a call with you on the 7th of December. And if I understood you to say that the 16th December call that you made to Witness A was to follow up on General Sibiya's request from you about feedback on the detention status of Mr. Molefe, because the family they had no information about where he was detained, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, please go to file 3, file 3, item 83, page 263. In fact, if we can start on 262. Do you have it?
I'm at 262.
Okay. Just before that, at paragraph 88, I just want... Okay, I just want to point out at 88. It says, this is witness A, I left Pretoria Central Police Station to assist the team who were on an active manhunt to find Lucky Molefe. The manhunt continued that entire weekend from Friday evening, 6 December 2024, until the morning of Monday, 9 December 2024, when we had to attend court for Molefe'S first appearance. So Mr. Molefe was appearing in court on the 9th of December. You see that? Then at paragraph 89, he says, on 7 December 2024, the day after Molefe'S arrest, I received a call from Colonel Mokoena, who asked why I had not reported the arrest of Molefe. Colonel Mokoena initially said that he was making the inquiry because this should be reported as a team success. I was surprised by this because Colonel Mokoena was aware that Brigadier Hopani had instructed us shortly after Tau, Kekana, and Mabusela's first appearance on 19 April 2024 not to report to anyone other than her regarding the murder case. In fact, since April 2024, we had not reported to Colonel Mokoena regarding the murder case. Since then, there have been many significant developments, including Tau's bail release in August 2024 and his rearrest in September 2024 for violating his bail conditions. Colonel Mokoena had not once complained that we had not reported any of these developments to him at the time. Then on the next page, when I reminded Colonel Mokoena that we have not been reporting to him on this matter for the last 7 months, he then changed his stance and said he was only inquiring because he had received a call from General Sibiya, who wanted to know why Molefe was not being detained at the police station closest to his residence and why Molefe'S family had not been informed of where he was being detained. I told Colonel Mokoena that when we took Molefe from his residence, I informed his family members who were present that we would be taking him to Pretoria Central Police Station, and I also informed his attorney. Colonel Mokoena left it at that. Now, Witness A, and I inquired again with Witness A, he is adamant that he does not recall you calling him on the 7th of December. He only has a record of the call of the 16th of December. And it would seem to me that the 7th, if you did call him on the 7th of December, then your inquiry about where Mr. Molefe is being detained would make sense. But if you're calling on the 16th of December, it's 10 days after his arrest. It's more than a week after, or just a week after his first appearance. The family know where he's been. He's already appeared in court. So it just seems to me, again, that it is implausible that that call on the 16th of December was this inquiry or a follow-up on this inquiry, because by then it should be a done deal. Everybody knows what the position is regarding Mr. Molefe. Do you want to comment?
Yes. As I've indicated also in my statement, maybe he doesn't recall. I was also looking on my itemized billing for the state phone, because that is the only one I'm having where it shows the calls out, not calls received. And then my dilemma is, commissioners, sometimes when people are given my number, they are giving them my private number, which is the one which now a lot of people are sending me messages after I talked about it. So that is the one which, when I went to Vodacom to look for the itemized billing in November 2025, I couldn't be assisted. So I'm not sure with what, but if we request section 205, it will indicate. Indeed, I phoned first Brigadier Nama, on the 7th, who is the component head of serious and violent, because I didn't know which unit from the province have made such arrest when I was asked to establish on the 7th where is. Then I end up calling Colonel Mkwena, he's there in my statement, and then he said he will follow up. And Colonel Mkwena didn't even give me this feedback, which it is on the statement of witness A. He gave me the telephone number, which I dialed, and he said he will come back to me sooner. They are busy. They are busy somewhere in the police. I think they were in the police station. And after some few minutes, he phoned. And I said, no, I wanted to inquire about the detention of Mr. Molefe, whom you arrested yesterday. I received a call that the family complained to the DNC that they don't know where he's detained. He said, no, a lot of people phoned about this thing. And they were with his attorney. He said, tell me something, I forgot only the surname. And then I said, for me, it doesn't make sense, because ordinarily, if the attorney will go to inquire, that attorney should have been sent by the family. So it means this thing is unfounded, and then I'll report as such. And then I don't know if I forgot to report or I send a WhatsApp to the DNC or whatsoever. Then but I phoned on the 16th because I received an invitation, and also I knew on the 17th I'm going back to work, and I forgot to ask what was he arrested for. That was the reason why I was phoning on the 16th, not to inquire about his arrest, to inquire about the charges which he was arrested for. So that was my testimony.
But General, by that stage, he had already had his first appearance. So it would be known what he was arrested for. Why would you need to inquire about that? He appeared on the 9th of December. And if indeed you were following up on behalf of General Sibiya about something as innocuous as that, it would seem to me, why the reluctance to report back to the other side, being General Sibiya himself who's asking you this, who's asking you for the request? Why the reluctance?
I was not reluctant on the 16th. On the 16th, I was supposed to be going there if I was feeling well. And again, I was supposed to give the whole, I remembered I have to give the full feedback. And I forgot that I didn't ask about what was the reason for the arrest. And I'm not aware when is the first appearance and so forth, as I was staying home. So that was the reason why I phoned, to find out what was he arrested for. So not to say the general phoned me asking me about it. I thought he will ask me about it when we meet, because I didn't give him a full report. And on the day which he phoned me on the 6th, that is when I responded, but why don't you ask Kumalo, because Kumalo is the DPC and Mina, I'm sick, I'm home. So, but I end up, on the 7th, I end up phoning anyhow, establishing that, because I felt I couldn't have answered my senior like that. He always phones me, and it shows he trusted me to do the work, and always he tasked me. So it was not that I wanted to know where was he detained, and it was about the charges. And I didn't know when did he appear or whatsoever, because I made sure my patch stays there, and I stay indoors so that I can get healed, and I don't read, watch TV and read a lot of things for that reason. I could answer phones, yes.
So there wasn't another call from General Sibiya asking for information
No.
after you reported back to him after the 7th?
Yeah, I think I sent the message back.
And then you, of your own accord, called witness A on the 16th because you anticipated that General Sibiya would want more information when you get back to work?
Or if I go that day to use that birthday, I thought it was Thanksgiving. So I thought maybe if I'm going or if I go back to work, either of those days, I will be, you will expect me to give him a full feedback, also to say what, that is normal when you are tasked. You need to give full feedback, not feedback to the person who have tasked you. So I did that on my own account, not to say he phoned me to say, you still owe me.
What doesn't make sense to me is that you are on leave. So there's no expectation that you are making these inquiries because you are not on duty. But this is about someone who was arrested at the beginning of December. It doesn't make sense to me why you would think that General Sibiya has not obtained this information from other people in your absence. You are not the only, in fact, this was not your matter. You are not responsible for this docket, that's one. So somebody else is responsible for the docket. General Sibiya knows that because he's talking to you. He's called you, he knows you're on leave, and he knows that it's not your docket. So it doesn't make sense to me that it's as innocent as, well, when I was concerned that when I go to the farm, he wants me to tell him about this case, when he knows it's not your docket, but also that, well, when I go back to work on the 17th, he will want a full report. You're not someone was acting in your position. What is it about this which makes you think that General Sibiya is going to expect a full report from you about a matter that's not yours and things that happened when you are on leave? To just make it make sense, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I promise today I will be short, but this one I will explain longer. Previously or yesterday, I did even indicate that even if you are on leave, meaning myself, I'm on leave, or sometimes you are on sick leave, you become to be tasked. Sometimes you are called from home to go and attend to something. I even gave example of the 16th and 17th of September 2024, which I was on leave. I had to go to Kimberley to do the shortlisting. The general knew I was on sick leave, and he chose to phone me, not informing the one who's acting, to inquire about these things on the 7th. That is number one. And that is what I inquired from Mukwena and Nama, who can come and also confirm that, and the telephones will show that. So I took it upon myself. It is for us when we are tasked. And I even indicated that even things which doesn't want me, as I'm the head of organized crime, I will be tasked with things which there are components ahead, not been tasked by the DIFCOM or the Deputy National Commissioner. I felt that because I was tasked, and when I remembered, after he called me to say for the invitation and so forth, if I'm able to come, and also I was going back to work, it's a norm that you give full report. And I thought when we meet, he might ask me. I didn't think about that. Maybe he might have asked somebody and so forth. Remember, Commissioner, my response to him the first time when he phones me, I said, why, if his agent not phone General Kumalo? And I felt bad about that I responded maybe wrongfully to my senior. So it was for that reason, not any other motive.
You had an acting person in your position. Why didn't you ask that person? I mean, that person is on duty. They are doing what you're supposed to do. if you were concerned properly to get a report about this, why did you not task the acting or ask the acting to get this information and to give you the report or to give it to General Sibiya? It just doesn't make sense that you are on sick leave. It's not your docket. And I've heard the explanation about even when you are on leave and even when it's not your matter. This is different. This man was arrested at the beginning of December. You are on sick leave. There's obviously been developments in the matter, unless you are telling us that you didn't think there had been any developments. That's why you had to speak to the investigating officer. But I still want to suggest to you that you had someone acting. You have to explain why it is you did not put this to the desk of the acting person to get the answers that General Sibiya required of you, and to have that person reporting to General Sibiya. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, I hear the commissioner, doesn't make sense, but that is the practice which I'm used to say when I'm tasked, I do it like that. Even if I can ask the person who is acting, I expect them to come back to me and then report back to the person who have asked me. Because I don't know, it's how I feel, because the person knows, and they are the ones who is signing off the acting person. But they know you are not on duty, but they still task you. So I take it upon myself that always I report back if I'm sent. I make sure that I go and report back. So I don't, even if I can task somebody to say, find out it for me, I expect the person to report back to me, and then I report back to the senior person who have tasked me.
See, the other anomaly about your version is that you say to us that you told General Sibiya to speak to General Khumalo and get a report. That's the last thing that happened. And then the next thing that happens is you are now calling. So even this, I was tasked. Yes, maybe you were tasked on the 7th, but you did give him a response. You said to him, get a report elsewhere. You don't, and then you then on the 17th or 16th start making these inquiries without yourself speaking to Khumalo to check, did you give Sibiya a response? So you create this vacuum. You're on leave, things are in a vacuum. Nobody's dealing with this matter and nobody's giving reports to General Sibiya, and then it waits for you to come back from leave to make these inquiries and then give him a report. It still does not make sense. It doesn't add up, what you're saying.
Commissioner, the inquiry was not done on the 16th. It was done on the 7th. On the 16th, it was a follow-up.
Yes, I'm talking about the follow-up.
Yes. And I done the follow-up because I did inquire on the 7th, and I forgot to ask about the reason for detention. And I believe I also forwarded a WhatsApp to the general to indicate that the person, the family seems to be knowing where the attorney was there. And then I didn't indicate further to say what was he arrested and so forth. Then I felt I must get full report in order to report promptly if I'm asked or when we meet, because I know he doesn't forget. When he tasks you, you will say, when are you owing me something? You didn't tell me whatsoever. And sometimes it can be after months and so forth. So the inquiry was done the first day. The first day which I responded to say, ask Khumalo, and corrected myself to say, I could not have responded like that.
Thank you, General.
Can I, sorry to do this? You see, General, what you are saying now does not make sense, because now you are saying upon making the first inquiry, you were satisfied that the attorney was there and the family was there. That's the 7th, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You are satisfied that the family knows because the attorney knows. So on the 16th, when you make the call and you say Sibiya wants the information for the other side, it can be the family. Because on the 7th already, the family and the attorney know. So on the 16th, when you say he wants it for the other side, it can't be the family.
Yeah. I don't understand it as I said he wants it for the,
He wants the information for the other side.
yeah, I don't understand it as I said, that was the conversation which I came with that preposition to say, I know maybe he doesn't want this information for the National Commissioner, even when he asked for the first time, maybe he wanted it for the other side. So it's not to say that day he phoned me and said he want information for the other side. So we were talking something which already happened. And it was a preposition. Remember, we had a long discussion about ourselves and also further sharing information which I had. And then we were talking as colleagues, not to say, but the reason for the phone was to establish the reason for the arrest. But we talked a lot of things and also shared more information, which I thought it can assist in the investigation. Yeah, so that was just a preposition from me that even though I think I will be asked, I don't think maybe the information is needed to give to the National Commissioner is for the other side. So it's not to say he phoned and said you want information that day.
But why were you so conflicted? I mean, if General Sibiya wants the information for himself and other generals at SAPS, or he wants it for the family, why did that bother you so much? Because you seemed bothered by this thing. Even the tone in your call, you seemed bothered, you seemed conflicted and worried. Why would you be bothered that the family wants to know why he's arrested? Or General Sibiya and generals within his faction want to know why he's arrested? They are generals at SAPS. Why were you so bothered by that?
No, in our discussion, what was bothering me, which we discussed, is this thing that we do in our work and people threatens us when we do our work. I think if we can go in the whole, you will see that was the only thing which we were discussing, to say, hey, people, they do things, but they know they will be arrested, but they don't want to be arrested. But this one, it was only in that sentence where we were talking to say, after I said the reason why I phoned, it was I wanted to know why the charges against the person, so that when we meet, I can be able to give a full report. But yeah, for me to have that perspective to say, I know it's not the National Commissioner maybe needing this. You might be knowing for his own information and his own faction. So it's me who said that. It's me who said that, but I was not bothered by that. The family asked. So that one came when he was saying, even that day, Colonel Mukwena, that was the first time he mentioned Colonel Mukwena, because on the 7th he mentioned a lot of senior officers were inquiring about this thing. And then he said Colonel Mukwena and Brigadier Hopan were promptly explained that the family was explained where the person was, and the lawyer was explained where the person was, and there was nothing wrong. That is when my response was, say, hey, these people are full of drama. And then I have learned, or I have information that this person was partners with the late Mzansi and other people. They were business partners and so forth. That is when I shared that information with him further. So not to say I was bothered by the general or whatsoever. I wanted full information so that when I explain, or if I'm asked, I explain in full. I'm a person who wants to explain in full or have full report if I'm tasked about something.
General, did you know that when you, on the 16th of December, did you know that Mr. Molefe had his first appearance already in court when you called witness A?
No, it didn't come to my mind, but supposedly he's supposed to have appeared, because if you are arrested by the 6th, in terms of our law, within 48 hours, you need to be released or appear. And I think the 16th was on a holiday.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but nowhere in this call does he tell you that Mr. Molefe had his first appearance already? And neither do you inquire what happened at the first appearance of Mr. Molefe?
No, that was not what was in my mind. I was tasked to find out where he is. I forgot to ask what was he arrested for.
No, but General, now we're on the 16th. You're calling to find out what he was arrested for. And in your statement, you say reason for the arrest. By reason for the arrest, do you just mean what the charge is?
Yes.
So if it was just about the charge, would you not have said this guy would have appeared on the 9th? You are a police officer, you know. By the time you speak to him on the 16th, there would have been a first appearance already, correct?
Correct.
So isn't that the first question you ask him? If your reason is to find out about the charge, for why he's being charged, as you say, isn't that one of the first questions that you say? When did he appear and what was it about? If it's a follow-up.
Yeah, the reason wants logic, but I phoned for what I was thinking about that time, being to find out what I forgot to ask, what is he arrested for?
Yes, but if it is what was he arrested for, by then you know that he has already had a first appearance, so you would have said to him, so this guy appeared already, what was the charge? You don't ask that.
That was non-issue.
Okay. So when you say reasons, it's just the charge.
Yeah, I forgot to ask that. The person
Okay.
is arrested for, and that was in my mind at that time.
So why do you then say he wants this information for the other side? He wants to know from the other side what Molefe has been arrested for, what is his charge?
I think I already explained, even though I was struggling explaining to the commissioner, to say, I was saying he wanted for himself and the people who are close to him on his side. So that was my explanation.
Okay. So if we are to then confine it to just being the charge, and I think we all understand that transcript, including witness A, as there being a reluctance on your part to share this information with General Shibiri. You don't want to report this information. It seems implausible that you don't want to report an information about he's been charged for the murder of Aman Swart. There's nothing sinister about that. You shouldn't be reluctant about that, correct? To just report back. I forgot to tell you that he's been charged for the murder of Aman Swart, if that was the purpose of the call.
His response was, he was given instruction. He said they were given instruction that they mustn't talk about this case with any person. And
Yeah.
then any person who want to inquire further about this matter, it must be inquired to General Khumalo, and I have seen also he indicated also Colonel Mukwena and Brigadier Hopane. Yes.
But if you go to the transcript, page 67 of the call, which is in file 4, CJC 97. Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm at 97, but no, I don't know which
No,
page.
CJC 97, it's page 67.
I'm there.
Page 67.
Yes.
And then you see after the line 10, just before line 20, the line just before line 20, it says investigating officer, yes. Then you say, he's looking for it for this other side. And then you say, so what can we say? It is how we live, but as long as we are safe, you see. This suggests that you feel like you don't have a choice. This is how we live. These are the things that we must do now. You don't want to do it, but this is how we live. But at least we're safe. That is how one interprets it. You are reluctant, but you feel that you have no choice because you are in a situation where this is just how my life is now.
Yes. You see, you are off sick, you are phoned for such a thing which anybody can provide. As I indicated, even the Commissioner Baloyi indicated, somebody's acting, there is a provincial head and provincial and DPC. But you are phoned for specifically yourself, you wonder why. And then that is how you live. As long as you are safe, you are living, and then you are doing your work, is fine.